Minister of Finance and Economic Planning, Dr. Kwabena Dufo, has sought parliamentary approval for an amount of 2.6 billion Ghana cedis as supplementary budget for 2012, presenting the mid-year review of the 2012 budget statement and economic policy, as well as supplementary estimates of the government of Ghana for 2012 financial year to Parliament. Dr. Dufo hinted the economic output of the country is bright and government's aim is to preserve the hard-won macroeconomic stability.
Minister Dr. Kwabena Dufo said the 2012 budget statement and economic policy he presented to the House late last year was based on actual data for 3 quarters of the year, with the 4th quarter based on estimates. He said since then, developments in both the domestic and global environments have necessitated some variations in the assumptions underlying the 2012 budget statement and economic policy. Notable among these are additional election-related expenditures, especially the procurement of verification equipment barely 5 months to the 2012 presidential and parliamentary elections, utility subsidies arising from non-adjustment of utility prices, fuel subsidies due to the unstable crude oil prices, interest costs arising from the recent cedi depreciation, and the 18% salary adjustment for 2012 and payment of deferred salary liabilities arising from the implementation of the single spine pay policy. These resulted in a revision of revenues and expenditure, therefore creating a room for a supplementary budget. Dr. Dufo announced the creation of an expenditure monitoring team to ensure that expenditure is well managed.
Government has put in place measures to support expenditure monitoring and control to ensure that excess spending is avoided, especially with the elections coming up later in the year. The requirement that commencement certificates be secured by ministries before committing government to any contractual obligation still remains in force. Ministries, departments, and agencies have also been directed not to commit funds to projects not contained in the budget.
Overall budget balance on cash basis for the first 5 months of 2012, according to Dr. Dufo, was in a deficit of 2,886,007 Ghana cedis, equivalent to 4.1%, against the budget target of 2,788,400 Ghana cedis, equivalent to 4% of GDP. He also announced that total expenditure was 1.5% higher than the budget.
Total expenditure, including payments of arrears and outstanding commitments, during the period amounted to 8,757.7 million Ghana cedis, equivalent to 12.6% of GDP. The outturn was 1.5% higher than the budget of 8,630.6 million Ghana cedis.
Dr. Kwabena Dufo said developments in the first 5 months of this year point to a positive outlook for the rest of the year. He said the government is therefore determined to strictly enforce the budget plans for the rest of the year, in spite of the fiscal challenges emanating from both domestic and external developments. Soyukuo Kwakuchre, GTV News, Parliament House.